17th season at South Carolina, said this group is probably a little looser than last year's group and a little looser than I like, and I tell them that.
They've been out there looking like they're having a lot of fun, though, here in the first 6 minutes of this one.
Here's Watkins. Watkins flings it out. Walker into the game, setting a screen for Johnson, who traveled, and South Carolina turns it over. Rebecca, we had a lot of back and forth buckets to begin this first quarter. Gone a few minutes now with both offenses stalling.
Yeah, it was a little bit frenzied, and in the first few minutes, South Carolina's done a great job of getting extra opportunities. They've taken 6 more shots than NC State because NC State turned it over, and because South Carolina, as we would expect, has gotten on the offensive glass.
Samaria Jones shovels underneath. Williamson banks it in. Lizzie Williamson, the Australian grad student, transfer from Southern Utah, and now coming up with a steal. Rivers leaning, can't hit. Rebound knocked around. Here's Fulwiley. Fulwiley cradles and finishes. Dawn Staley talked to us about MiLaysia Fulwiley figuring out the in-between moments, not just the highlight moments. She said, the game is played there, and she's a little uncomfortable there, but so willing to learn, so coachable. That's really the focus for Dawn with MiLaysia this season.
Yeah, we saw early in the game where she went up and had a near beautiful finish in transition, but it's the plays like the one we just saw in the quarter court, driving to the basket. Those are the kind of finishes she needs to find consistently.
Fulwiley a little too strong, and Rivers the weak side rebound. Williamson lays it in on a nice delivery from Jones. How about Samaria Jones? We've seen her ability to shoot off the dribble and now make a couple nice passes as well. The number 17 prospect in this year's recruiting class.
I mean, especially considering this is a freshman in a really big environment, a big moment against the number 1 team in the country. She has showed some really nice poise here.
Fulwiley leaning, gets fouled by Rivers. And MiLaysia Fulwiley will shoot 2. That's going to be the second foul on Rivers, who picked up an offensive foul. Now, for those of you who are just joining us, who were not with us on the app, Chloe Kitts normally would start, not starting today because of an academic policy issue. The freshman Joyce Edwards started instead. And then, for those of you just joining us as well, Ashlyn Watkins, playing in her first action, had faced charges of assault and kidnapping for an incident on August 31st, but the charges were dismissed November 1st. South Carolina lifted her suspension last week. She rejoined the team on Wednesday, and Dawn told us she is ready to roll. Sanaya Rivers sends her to the bench. Significant foul there for a critical player for NC State. Isaiah James gives it up. Cox has it denied by Watkins. Soaring to make the deflection, and then Watkins able to finish.
Ashlyn Watkins has just loaded with talent, and she displays it on both ends of the floor. You have to be able to fake a pass with her because she's got length, athleticism, quickness, and finishing on the offensive end.
Brooks needs someone to go touch it. No one does, and it's going to be a violation.
The defense to offense, and here you see Ashlyn Watkins, 6'2", blocks it, teammate corrals it, pushes it ahead, but she's got the skills, body control, can finish inside amongst a couple defenders.
7 turnovers for NC State already in this first quarter. Here's Tessa Johnson, one of the heroes of last year's national championship game. Can't hit the jumper. Rebound Walker, and the putback.
South Carolina just doing what they do. Disruptive defensively, all over the offensive glass.
5-0 boards already in this first quarter for South Carolina to go with those 7 turnovers they forced. 3-second difference game in shot clock. Zoe Brooks elevates, can't finish. Rebound Watkins, plenty of time for South Carolina. Johnson tosses to Watkins. She'll fire. Can't hit. leave some time for NC State as well. Quickly up the floor, Jones. And that's going to be a travel.
You heard it as much as you saw it.
Yeah.
A thump stop.
Ooh, I like that. 9 turnovers in the quarter. Rematch of last season's semifinal. South Carolina winning that one en route to their 3rd national championship. 78-59 final in that Final Four matchup. South Carolina used a 29-6 third quarter to separate from NC State in that contest. James gets fouled on the drive as we send things over to Holly Rowe.
So you talked about the early turnovers, 9 turnovers in that first quarter for NC State. So listening into their huddle, it was player run for much of it. Isaiah James saying, we're not playing our game. We're going too fast. They want to slow down, reverse the ball, not have one shot and out. And then Wes Moore made a point to talk about getting back on defense. They're getting killed on the glass and then not getting back, giving up too many layups on the other end.
Good stuff, Holly. Thank you very much. That layup no good on a pretty good attempt there for Tilda Trieger.
But it was contested. So even when you get by South Carolina's first line of defense, they still have elite shot blockers on the back line.
Edwards, too strong.
She's too strong. She is so good. She is a great finisher. We talked about how she gets to the offensive glass. She can defend as well, play multiple positions. They have so much to be excited about with this young woman.
19-14, South Carolina leads it, largest lead of the game thus far. Bounce it inside, taken away, another turnover. Edwards on the steal, Edwards coast to coast, gets fouled, and Joyce Edwards will shoot 2.
In the post, able to get around, get the steal, and then just take it herself the other way.
Hey, coming up next here from Spectrum Center, saw some pretty big alums in the building from those 2 schools.
That's right.
Kate Martin, Liz Kitley. We welcome all of you watching on ESPN. Ally Tipoff here in Charlotte. South Carolina and NC State. South Carolina 21-14 second quarter. Some of you who've been with us on our nomadic networks today have heard us tell this story, but for those of you just joining us, Chloe Kitt's not playing today. Normally a starter, not playing today because of an academic policy issue. Meanwhile, Ashlyn Watkins is back today for South Carolina. She had faced charges of assault and kidnapping for an incident on August 31st, but the charges were dismissed November 1st. South Carolina lifted her suspension last week. She rejoined the team Wednesday. Dawn Staley talked about what an amazing job Ashlyn did staying in shape while she was away from the team, getting basketball time in as well. She's from Columbia, was in her high school gym for NC State. Madison Hayes, Zoe Brooks, Isaiah James, Trieger, and Quigley. Sanaya Rivers on the bench with 2 fouls as Trieger able to dance her way to the bucket.
I'm really interested in Trieger and her abilities because she's 6'6", she can take 3, she's got good moves inside, nice length. She's going to be a fun one to watch the next couple of years at NC State.
Freshman from Sweden, Edwards, no, rebound, flagged down by Trieger. Westmore loves the skill of Trieger, just needs her to get a little stronger, a little tougher, but can shoot it as well. When Wes went to go see her play in Lithuania, she went 5 for 6 from 3. He said, I got to get out of here now. I got my mind made up. James buries the 3, and just like that, tied at 21, a 7-0 run for NC State. Paopao looking to respond, cannot, out of bounds. To NC State, you see Paopao, Johnson, Tessa, and Raven on the floor.
Sorry, NC State has a smaller lineup than South Carolina. I thought the last few possessions, South Carolina should have looked to go into Edwards. She just has the size advantage on Hayes.
Zoe Brooks banks it in. A 9-0 NC State run.
Look at Edwards fighting inside.
And that's going to be an offensive foul. Oh, nice look. Hayes to James. It's an 11-0 run for NC State. Fulwiley unable to bank it in. Edwards has it stripped away. Got it back. Fulwiley settles with a jumper. And that'll end the 11-0 run.
And credit Edwards. Not only did she get the basketball, she felt the three around her, knew that the wise decision was to pass it out to Fulwiley.
6 offensive boards now for South Carolina. Here's James. James was so good in that run to the Final Four a season ago. Really boosted her pro stop. Here's Brooks. Brooks, and a foul is called. Was it a kick before the foul? It'll be NC State ball. Dawn Staley's team, of course, victorious last year in the national championship game. 3rd national title for Dawn in South Carolina. They ride a 39-game winning streak into this game. NC State does have 4 wins against AP number 1s in program history. And right now a 2-point second quarter lead on South Carolina. Staley told us she felt in that first game against Michigan that her team was a little too loose, needed to get back to their habits as Watkins lays it in.
Good find by Te-Hina Paopao. Looked first to the left side of the floor and then looked back and saw that Watkins was wide open.
4:20 to go in this first half. Here's Trieger. Trieger can't whip it in. Johnson swiftly up the floor. Fulwiley, little hesitation, hops in and finishes.
A little bit more hang time than most of the women playing college basketball.
A 6-0 response from South Carolina following an 11-0 run from NC State. Here's Cox. Nia Rivers been on the bench a while for NC State with 2 fouls. Zoe Brooks gets the whistle against Fulwiley, and Zoe Brooks is going to shoot 2.
And there she goes again. And prior to that, we saw Paopao with a nice assist to Watkins. Now, this last couple times down for NC State, while they have a big lineup in right now, and we've seen quite a bit early in this game where they've had 1 big and 4 guards. But they had a 5-out set, 4 out, 1 in, post player inside, kind of a coach, but trying to work with his personnel.
Especially while his posts adjust and get some experience. Jones knocked it away. Edwards trying to get back after it, but NC State forces the steal.
Good hands by Jones and then pursuit of the ball as well.
Here's Jones cutting through, can't hook it in. Been a lot to like about Maria Jones, though, in this first half. A freshman from Greenville, North Carolina. Number 17 recruit this year. Knocked away again. Isaiah James travel.
Active hands. 1, 2. Yeah, travel. Okay.
I think there was a Euro. And then they got on the flight and flew a little further. Paopao gets the roll. Tough bucket from Te-Hina Paopao.
Dawn Staley wanted to see more from her than just the threes. She's certainly seen quite a bit already here in this first half.
See our men's doubleheader Tuesday on ESPN. Put the flag in the second of those games. Here's James coming back to the basketball. A little extended 8-1 run for South Carolina following an 11-0 run from NC State. That's a travel too. And what could be the game where Gino would tie Tara Vanderveer. Fulwiley connects on a 3.
NC State, who just about never plays zone, came out in that possession playing zone, and then MiLaysia Fulwiley was the zone buster.
She said, "Oh, I like this zone."
Yes.
An 11-1 run. Collier inside, able to finish. Good patient bucket from Mallory Collier. Fulwiley flips it in.
You know what MiLaysia Fulwiley still likes? The NC State zone.
Yeah, I'd say so. Collier gets hit. Can't flip it in, but will go to the line to shoot 2. Fulwiley picked up her second foul as Collier goes to the line. Hey, coming up next here on ESPN, Mark Few. You know, you always impress me. But I just have to say, today's performance has been particularly noteworthy. How you have concentrated through the potent gasoline smell that we have had at the table all game. I'm amazed at your focus.
And I at yours.
I mean, it feels like we're huffing Hess over here. And three is good for Paopao. And a knock away from Paopao. Lead is 9 now for South Carolina. Dangerous handle there, and it's knocked out of bounds by the Gamecocks. A 16-3 run for South Carolina.
And what made South Carolina so dangerous a year ago and continues this season is their ability to have multiple players shoot and make from the three-point line. Nice move.
Yeah, good footwork there from Collier. Mallory Collier, the sophomore center. He's number 55 recruit a season ago from Tennessee. That's too strong. Fagan just gobbling it up on the interior. 7-0 boards for South Carolina now, and an 8-0 advantage in second chance points. Here's Jones. Jones, 4 seconds left. Puts it up, missed it badly. And that'll do it for the first half. South Carolina, after surrendering an 11-0 run to NC State, falling behind in the second. Not playing in this game due to an academic policy issue. So it's Paopao, Fagan, Edwards, Hall, and Johnson. Because, you know, a telly is exciting.
Well, I go through a WNBA season without a telly. I've got this beautiful telly now next to me.
Brooks cups it in.
And really, all tellies are beautiful.
I agree. Mike Fratello taught me that a long time ago.
Great pass.
Paopao, run off, leaning and hitting. Te-Hina Paopao with 16.
This is 24-25, Te-Hina Paopao. She knows that the defense is going to close out on her. The fake, the dribble by, the floater. That's a tough floater on the baseline. And
that's what Dawn Staley talked to us about earlier today. Wanting to see that inside the arc game from Paopao as Brooke shows a little of her own. On ESPN's mock draft for the W this season as Fagan gets free and lays it in.
Beautiful pass by Joyce Edwards, drawing the second defender and makes the simple but the right play.
12 points, South Carolina lead. They are a +10 in the paint. Brooks. Lost it. Got it back. Rivers. Sat much of the first half in foul trouble. Rivers couldn't quite finish it. Here comes Raven Johnson. Johnson, what a dart. And Hall lays it in.
So, but certainly, Holly, that was exactly what happened on that last defensive possession for NC State.
And that's going to be an offensive foul on Lorena Awu. Here's Edwards. Hall. Fagan looking to turn the corner, lost it, got it back, finds Edwards for 2. 50-34, South Carolina leads it. Here's Rivers with a hand in her face, will shoot free throws. Rivers. There's an AP All-American honorable mention. Big second quarter. Dumps it in. Edwards. The hook. Short. Rebound Brooks. Trying to stay in and keep possession and does. Here's James. Weaving. Curling. Couldn't finish. Edwards secures it. Now South Carolina running for Wiley. Pizza pies at home. Plus the foul.
Did you see Fulwiley's eyes? When she caught the basketball and took her dribble, her eyes were on the defender the whole time. Like, what are you going to do about it? Ryan Rook dunk. What are you going to do about it? Just pretty stuff.
Played a critical role in a national championship game a season ago. And a big game today. It was the first SEC player to average 25 points, 3 steals, and 1 block per 40 minutes since Candace Parker back in the 07-08 season, as we send things over to Holly Rowe.
Well, much like Candace Parker, did you guys know she can dunk? She's 5'7", but she can actually dunk. So I'm holding my breath for the day that we get to see MiLaysia dunk in a game like we saw Candace Parker do at Tennessee.
Yeah, and you know what's incredible about that nugget, Holly, and Candace Parker in that 08 season is consider that Candace Parker went on to be the WNBA MVP that season. So MiLaysia doing something that hasn't been done since a WNBA MVP in Candace Parker in 08. Rivers gets denied by Watkins. Here's Fulwiley in transition. Was going for the pass. Jones doesn't get the roll. Watkins secures the rebound. Hall tucks it in through the contact, and the lead is now 20 for South Carolina, trying to make it 40 straight wins with a victory. Wow, Fulwiley now with the rejection. What can she do?
MiLaysia Fulwiley, we've seen her, what she can do on the offensive end, and then defensively here as well. Gets beat by a step, able to recover, save the play.
5 blocks for South Carolina. NC State has missed its last 8 shots. Here's James. James with good footwork. Isaiah James gets fouled and will shoot 2.
They missed their last 8.
See, Dawn Staley did not feel like that was a foul. Rebecca, let's talk about Isaiah James. And we talked to some people around the WNBA as well. She definitely got on some radars in a way that perhaps she wasn't at the beginning of last season. Watkins. And lost it out of bounds to NC State. You see a top team have a rotation as deep as South Carolina's, and it meant everything to them in that national championship game when the starters were struggling. Dawn had several buttons she could push because of the way she had built up that trust throughout the season.
Talk about their depth right now. Joyce Edwards is out there as the 3. This is a really big front line for South Carolina.
Right, gives versatility. Fulwiley shovels, got it back, and flips it in. Why not? 18 for MiLaysia Fulwiley. And a steal from Paopao. Paopao gets denied. Rivers able to just claw it away. Now Isaiah James hooks a pass, hit the deck. Jones backs it out. Got a 14-second difference game in shot clock. Jones buries the 3. We've seen some of that in this game. Zamaria Jones, she's shown flashes where she's going to be a player to watch this year for NC State.
And especially her moxie. You know, her willingness to make those moves, take those shots. She's 3 for 10, but man, she looks like a confident player out there.
Knocked away by Rivers, kicked over to Fulwiley. 4 seconds left in the quarter. MiLaysia looking to go to work. Fulwiley at the horn. No. And that'll do it for the third.
Joyce Edwards is from South Carolina, and when she was a little girl, she would mop up the floors at the home arena, Colonial Life Arena, after South Carolina home games. And in exchange, she would get a free ticket to watch the games and watch one of her idols, A'ja Wilson. And I just think back to that little girl mopping the floors, getting an opportunity to see and learn from A'ja Wilson. And now here she is in a Gamecock uniform, her first start today. What a long journey for this young woman. And I just think, you know, if you can see her, you can be her. She got an opportunity to see A'ja Wilson, and now here she is in the same uniform.
It's so cool, Holly. And I mean, a player that everybody in South Carolina very excited to see for years to come as James finishes on the interior.
How about that crossover and wrong foot finish?
13 now for Isaiah James. NC State, a little 9-2 push dating back to the end of the third. It's a 13-point game. Paopao bounces. Fagan gets denied, but a foul. Fagan, 68% a year ago at the line, misses the first. There's Kate Martin, Gabby Marshall right next to her. You see two people down, Liz Kitley as well. Kitley, the all-time leading scorer at Virginia Tech. We know the huge roles Martin and Marshall played on Iowa's teams that went to back-to-back national championship games with Caitlin Clark. Fagan hits the jumper. By the way, Kate Martin and Liz Kitley will speak with us during that second game on ESPN2, so make sure you hop over following the conclusion of South Carolina NC State. Jones, nice backdoor feed, and Brooks lays it in. For NC State, Fagan gets denied. What a rejection from Rivers. Jones, a three, is good. NC State with a little momentum. They've cut the deficit to 10. They are leading by 10, but led by 20 late in the third. NC State on a 14-4 extended run, and Watkins plays in.
Really well designed play. It was a post-to-post screen.
Rivers bounces. James flings it out. Jones again. Zam Jones, the confident freshman with her fourth three of the game. Paopao zips through the paint. Knocked away. 8 to shoot. Stolen. James flings it ahead. Jones flags it down and lays it in. It's a 7-point game. A 19-6 run for NC State has shaved a 20-point deficit down to 7. Paopao's jumper is good. Big bucket there for the fifth-year senior. Trieger in the corner. Too much on it. Paopao off and running. Paopao will peel back. Clock is the friend of South Carolina. 9-point lead under 4 minutes to go. Ten to shoot. Fagan. Little hook, short. Rebound knocked around, grabbed by Brooks. Here comes Brooks, one-on-one with Paopao. Zoe Brooks took it to the body, but just couldn't finish it. Paopao, she's had a couple opportunities in transition last two trips, but has opted to settle things down and run some clock.
And I think actually she probably should push it because South Carolina has been stalled a little bit in their quarter-court offense, whereas they've been really good when they've been able to have pace.
Raven Johnson flips it in off a beautiful crossover. Lead is back to 11 for South Carolina. 4 straight points to stem the tide. 2:45 to go. Jones, stripped, controlled by South Carolina. 20th turnover, then Jones yanks it back. Held ball, and possession arrow belongs to the Gamecocks. It's now Fagan, the players joining Joyce Edwards. Oh, Edwards tosses it out of bounds. A lot to love about what she's done today, and the struggles have been the turnovers. Jones gets denied by Edwards. You can see Sam Jones is so exhausted, breathing heavy.
Just played hard.
Yep. Raven Johnson. Is it stolen? Isaiah James. Off the deflection, dumps it in, and Brooks lays it on. Now Westmore wants his team to press. 9-point game. Paopao flings it across the floor. Hall won't take it. We'll run some clock.
Right decision.
Shot clock is at 10. Paopao loses it, but a kick. Fagan goes right at Hayes, can't pop it in. Rebound NC State. Jones. Rivers curling it up and off. Sanaya Rivers now 1 for 7 from the floor. And Brooks fouls Raven Johnson.
Ooh, they just gave one. It just wasn't called.
Nope. Paopao says yes, yes. 9 for 15 from the floor. He's turned it over just 2 times. Hayes has it knocked off her leg, out of bounds. South Carolina ball.
Hall's done that a couple of times.
NC State not trapping. Down 11. Hall will dribble out some more clock. Off to Edwards. Shot clock at 8. Into the corner. Paopao. You bet. A little exclamation point from Te-Hina Paopao. Jones unable to hit the 3. Paopao the rebound. And South Carolina can dribble this out. 40 straight wins for South Carolina.